Hello there friends, it's Ashley here from The Loopy Lamb, and today I want to teach you how to do the primrose stitch. Today I have two different samples here to kind of show you what it looks like. On my left hand side here we have a sample done in Bravo worsted weight yarn with a 5.5mm hook, and it's a little denser than my sample here on the right, which was done with Dishy yarn in a 6mm hook. The primrose stitch is a very simple stitch. It's a 2-row repeat, and it creates a really pretty fabric. It's pretty much reversible. There are very slight differences between the front and the back of the fabric, but most people aren't going to be able to tell. So let's call it reversible just because we can. The two different samples, I personally like the little bit of a denser look, but like with most stitches, if you mix up your hook size and your yarn size, this is a fabric that can give you a different look depending on what your materials are that you're using. So let's grab our hooks, grab our yarn, and let's get started. So for today's tutorial, I am using a 5.5mm Furls Odyssey crochet hook, and I am using a worsted weight yarn in denim blue from We Crochet. It's the Bravo worsted weight line. And to start our swatch today, we're going to need to create a slip knot. And for the primrose stitch, we need to create a chain that's in multiples of 3 plus 2. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a chain of 14. So that means we're going to do 3 4 times. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, so 12 is a multiple of 3, and then we're going to add 2 on the end there. Okay, so we've got our 14 chains. Now, when you are working this stitch, the chain 2s will count as a half double crochet, and all chain 3s will count as your first double crochet stitch. To start our foundation row, we are going to skip the first and the second chains, and we're going to work into that third chain from the hook, and we're going to go into that hook and single crochet. Okay, so there's single crochet, and then we're going to chain 2. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. There's your second chain. Now we're going to go back into that same stitch, and we're going to single crochet. Okay. Then we are going to skip the next 2 chains, 1, 2, and in that third chain we're going to do another single crochet, chain 2, single crochet cluster. So single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. And we're going to work that repeat of skipping 2 chains and then single crochet, chain 2, single crochet across our chain until there are 2 chains remaining. All right, so I just finished my last cluster, and there are 2 chains remaining. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip 1 chain, and I'm going to work a half double crochet into that last chain. Okay, so that's yarn over into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. And that's your half double crochet. Now those first 2 chains that we skipped at the beginning, those also count as a half double crochet, and you'll see how that figures into our row 2. Okay, so let's chain up 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn our work to start row 2. Now again, that chain 3 counts as your first double crochet, and then what you're going to do is you're going to work 3 double crochet stitches into each of the chain 2s that we created in row 1. So we'll yarn over, and it might be a little tricky to see, especially if you're using a worsted weight yarn like I am with a smaller hook, but between those 2 single crochets we've got those chain 2s. So we're going to yarn over, go into the middle of the chain 2s, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And that's your first double crochet. And we'll do that 2 more times. So we have a total of 3 double crochets in the middle of that chain. Okay, then we'll skip directly next to the next chain 2 space and repeat with 3 double crochets in that chain 2. So I have done my last double crochet cluster in my chain 2s, and you'll see that I've got this little bit of work hanging out that's not worked into. That is the 2 chains that we skipped at the beginning of our row 1. And so what you're going to do is you're going to double crochet into the top of the chain 2, and that'll help give you that nice clean edge that we're looking for. Okay, so double crochet into the top of those 2 chains. Then we're going to chain up 2 for our turning chain, turn our work, and we're going to work row 3. So to work our 3rd row here, we're going to, again, that chain 3 works as your first stitch here. So you're going to identify each of your double crochet clusters here. So you see I've got 1, 2, 3 double crochets, and I'm going to be working into the middle double crochet stitch, a single crochet, 2 chains, and a single crochet. So again, I'm going to skip that first stitch because the chain 3 counts as my first stitch. Skip the second and work into that middle double crochet of the cluster. So single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Then I'm going to skip directly to the center stitch of the next cluster, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. And I'm going to do that across my row, working into that middle double crochet of each cluster from the previous row. And then I'm going to work a half double crochet into the top of that chain 3 turning chain from the beginning of the previous row. And so for all subsequent rows, we're going to be alternating between rows 2 and 3 until you reach your desired size. So if we wanted to continue, we'd return to that double crochet row, which is chain up 3, turn your work, and then 3 double crochets in each of those chain 2 spaces across. And once you've worked into every chain space, you will place a double crochet in the top of the chain 2 turning chain from the previous row. And I'll show you that row 3 one more time. Chain up 2, turn your work, and then we'll single crochet, chain 2, single crochet into the double crochet in the middle of each of those double crochet clusters from the previous row. And when you get to the end of the round, or sorry, the row I should say, when you get to the end of the row, you will half double crochet in the top of that turning chain to finish the row. And that's it. That's how you do the primrose stitch. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll help you in any way that I can. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. If you enjoy free crochet patterns, please check out my blog, theloopylamb.com. Thank you so much for watching. Happy hooking, friends, and I'll see you next time.